Welcome to the Cash Flow Couple Podcast. I am your hostess with the mostest, Wendy Williams. How you doing? How you doing, John Williams?
I'm doing fine. It's Tuesday. No, today's Monday.
Wait, what day is it
As we
today?
record this, I think it's Monday. Yeah, because you just put out the trash for tomorrow.
That's right. That's right. Because I just put out the trash. And
This is how we do time. Did you put the trash out today or yesterday?
That's right. Well, you know, the kids are not in school, so
That's true.
I mean, the weeks,
Yes.
so the weekdays are just kind of blend in
Yes.
with the weekends.
Summer is like that, yes.
Yeah, it is.
And we spent all weekend setting up our newest unit.
Yes. So this is unit number 7.
Number 7.
Yes. Can you believe that?
We're getting close to our goal.
I'm telling you. We're getting there.
So our original goal was to do 10 by the end of the year.
Right. So,
And it's July. Oh, I guess it's August now, right?
yes,
So,
it's already August.
So
The kids go back to school
September,
with
October,
the-
November, December. 4 more months to get 3 more. I don't know. I don't think we're going to get there.
No, well, you know, something that we have learned is that it takes a little while for a unit to get established.
It really does. Yeah.
So sometimes you will get bookings immediately, and you do. You get some bookings at first, and especially we've had some units that have gotten bookings without pictures, and our professional photographer is coming on Monday, the 12th, and then we will get those pictures up on the website, which is going to drive more traffic, right? So
Sure. Yeah. It's hard to sell a place without pictures.
right, it really is.
Although we've done it. But
We
getting a
have.
booking doesn't mean it's profitable.
Exactly. Well, that's the whole point, right? So it takes a little while to be profitable. So I would say that it takes us a good 2 months. And that's something that we have learned.
Yeah. And I think that's partially specific to our market being in
think so?
Charlotte. Yeah. I think if you're well, obviously I would think that if you're in a market where it's really high demand and you're starting in a high demand time, meaning a new unit, then you're probably going to be booked quicker than if you're starting a unit in, you know, a less demand time and in a less demand market.
Right.
And while Charlotte is growing quite a bit, I mean, it's a great market for real estate. It really is. But it's growing in numbers, and it's growing in real estate, and it's growing in all those things. But at the same time, because of that, you have a lot of people coming to town with investments, right? And because the barrier of entry for our particular business is so low relatively, I think you have a lot of, quote, competition. You have a lot of units quickly that spring up. And so it takes a while for us to, it's not that we don't get stabilized, but we have found, at least with houses, which we're doing currently, it takes a while to get them stabilized, and because you have to get reviews. Even though we have reviews for our other units, for that particular unit, it has no reviews. And so you get one good review, and then you get another good review, and then you get another one. And the traffic that you're able to generate, at least from the platforms, seems to be heavily review dependent. So I think that's why it takes a while. You just have to build up some reviews.
And that's why we say to limit your number of nights that someone can stay at the very beginning to less than 7, because you want to. Is it less than 7?
Yeah, I was just looking at you funny because that's a nugget you just dropped. A lot of people don't realize.
Right. So, and that's something that we have learned, that that's what you need to do is to build up reviews. And if you're going to allow just one person to stay, let's say 14 days, it's going to take you longer to get those 10 reviews that you need.
Exactly. And I think that's part of what happens, but we know that. Like, we don't do that anymore. But remember that happened in the basement. You know,
Exactly.
the first property we had, the very second
Yep.
guest that stayed for 3 months, which means we were in operation for 4 months with 2 reviews.
Yep. That's right.
At the end of those 4 months.
That's right.
And so it took longer to get established because of that. Because it's great while they're there, but then you're 3 months in and you've lost the newness. Because you do get a bump on the platforms like Airbnb specifically, but the others as well. If you're a new listing, they artificially boost you just because you're new. Right? And it even says like new listing. And on Airbnb specifically, you get that 20% discount. Remember that for the first 3 guests?
For the first 3 guests.
But that
that's
only
right.
lasts for a certain period of time.
Right.
So if your second guest stays, in that example, 3 months, well, the newness is worn off. You don't have that anymore. You've only got the 2 reviews, if both of them left you reviews, which every guest doesn't. And you've lost that 20% discount, which is another hook, right? So you can put yourself behind the 8 ball. So I hear that all the time, and I have this thing that I'm doing called short-term rental tip of the day, where I do like little nuggets like that we've learned along the way. So I don't have anywhere to send somebody for that right now, but I will. But right now I'm just kind of doing it on my Facebook page if you follow me there, and my Instagram page. But anyway, so that's one of the things that people don't think about. They ask me all the time, what should I set for a minimum night stay? And there are things you should do there too, but the thing that people don't think about is, well, what should you set for your maximum stay? Especially if you're newer, and it's for the reasons we just talked about. So that's your golden nugget for the day. If you're if you're out there in short-term rental land, think about that when you set up a new listing. Consider setting a max so that you can generate your views quickly. I'd rather in the beginning have 5 2-night stays and get 10 reviews in, what would that be, 10 days, than to have somebody stay for a month, which seems awesome at first, but then I haven't established myself.
Right. You
and
only get
and
one
it's going to
review.
take longer overall.
Right. So that's one thing that we have learned through these 7 units that we have set up, that I think is beneficial not only to us, but could be beneficial to other short-term operators as well. So it's an important lesson that we have learned, because we have learned a lot of lessons, and me in particular, I have learned 2 lessons from setting up this unit.
Yes.
That I can talk about.
We've always gotten better, though. Every unit that we've set up, we've gotten better.
That's true, because you remember not necessarily the basement, but because we already had the couch, we already had the TV, all the painting was already done.
Yeah, the basement's kind of a unicorn. It's a whole different deal.
And plus, it's in our own house, so that doesn't really count. But it
counts as far as revenue.
Well,
it counts,
true. But
it's not how I would do the next one. Yeah.
But the first one that we got, that was an external unit, it took us, I want to say, 2 or 3 weeks to set up.
Yeah.
I want to say it took us that long.
It really did.
Because we were the ones doing the painting. I was the one that decorated it myself. We set it up ourselves. I mean, we hung the TVs. We hung all of the curtains. We did everything.
We did have some help on that one. You remember that?
I don't remember who helped us on that one. Somebody's calling me. I don't know who that is. I'm sorry.
But yeah, we did have some help on that one. But the problem was we didn't have everything there the first day.
That's right.
So we were like, oh yeah, we're going to open on a Saturday, and we're just going to set all this up over the weekend, and we'll be good.
I remember I forgot curtain rods. I had the curtains, but I forgot the curtain rods.
Right. So it was a bunch of little things.
It was a little stuff like that.
And then it was other things that weren't there. And then that Saturday came and went, and those people came and went home. and relatively very little was done. We had some furniture put together, a little bit of it. But
we
then
did have the furniture
There was some
delivered.
stuff that wasn't there. We didn't have any of the pictures hung. There was a lot to be done.
Yeah.
The kitchen wasn't put together.
To be done. Yes. There is a lot to be done. I mean, imagine setting up an entire house in a couple of days.
Well, even that's hard to imagine because most of us haven't done it.
Right.
Even if you move into a new place, you typically bring stuff from your old space. So you have all that. And then you kind of, I just remember when we moved here, we moved from a much smaller house to here, but we had everything that we had and we kind of set it up, and you have time because you're living there. It's not like the photographer's coming to take pictures next week, right? So you just kind of unbox things as you can, and you buy new things as you need them. And
well, there's no time crunch when it's your own spot, when it's your own space. But when you're paying rent and you're not making any money to cover the rent, I mean, it puts a little bit of fire under your butt.
Yeah, and you're buying all the stuff.
And you're buying all the stuff. Yes. And
so the quicker you can get open, the better.
Yes.
But it did. It took us I want to say at least 2 weeks to get that place started.
I'm thinking
maybe
that's
3.
Right. So that's one of the things that we took from that to each one of the others. So you're right. Every time we do it, we learn something new.
Yeah, and I think it took us past the second one to realize, okay, we don't need to start until we have everything.
Right.
And there's also budget creep too. Like the first one we did, we were like, it's kind of like when we were doing flips, and you get something from a wholesaler, or even just us, being new to flips, it'd be like, it looks like $20,000. Right. But then it ends up, I mean, it's never a round number, first of all, which it tells me you didn't do any math. You just said, it might be. Right. And then you're like, well, like the curtain rod thing, you're like, oh, I forgot about curtain rods. Or now, the design isn't exactly what I thought it would be. I think I need this other little thing.
Well, we didn't even have a spreadsheet.
Well, we did have a spreadsheet.
Well, yeah,
but it was a generic one.
But
it wasn't specific to that place. It was just like, because I get that question all the time too, or we do. It's like, hey, do you have a spreadsheet you can give me that has everything in your unit? I'm like, yeah, I can give you mine for that unit, but it's going to be different for yours.
Right, because you may not be serving the same type of customer that we are.
It might not be exactly the same size, or what's your design look like? It's totally different. Now, I will say that some people skip this altogether and just hire somebody to do it, which you can also do, which if you got the money to do it, definitely do that.
Yeah, for sure. But it's going to cost you.
It's going to cost you money. It's probably going to cost you $5,000 to $6,000.
$5,000 or $6,000
to have somebody do it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you do it yourself, you're going to spend that in time.
Well, yeah, for sure.
So it's just a matter of whether what's your time worth to you, and would you rather spend the dollars or spend the time? And so far, we have chosen to spend the time, but realize it's also costing you those days. It's not just the time to do it; it's the time to be up and running. But we've gotten more efficient at it, and we've learned some things along the way. And then there's some things that, like, okay, we've done this 3-4 times now. These are givens, but they're just like when we were flipping houses, right? It's like we got it all figured out now. And then the next one we would do, there would be something.
Right.
There's always something.
Always something.
And this one is that the previous tenants that moved out, and the way this landlord works, it wasn't necessarily like ready to go when we got it. So we had to do some extra stuff that we didn't think about.
It was not move-in ready.
So we had to do some painting. We had to do, and not just the accent walls we wanted to do. We had to do some like turnover stuff.
Yes, we actually
normal turnover stuff. There's holes in the walls. We had to sand today.
Yep.
And yesterday, and put putty in, and there's that threshold at the door that we just noticed the other day that's like catching, and it's like that's not a premium experience. It doesn't.
The air conditioner is not running efficiently.
Froze up the first day.
That's right.
So now it's like that probably needs to be serviced. So there's little things that happen, and then of course we made a rookie mistake.
Oh, I sure did.
Rookie mistake that we made on our first flip. We hired a non-professional person to do painting.
Yes, and that came. Oh, that was so
that
bad.
Bit us in the
behonkus. Yes, and I will never do that again. I will never. And it's recorded on this podcast for eternity. So you know that I am speaking the truth when I say I will never hire a non-professional
people,
to do anything.
Because every time we've done that, in whatever venture,
it's cost
us twice.
It sure has. And
in this particular case,
it was the painting.
And the landlord was going to pay for it, right?
Yes.
And you gave her a number and said, I got people to do it for $300.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
How much has this painting cost us so far?
Yep. At least $500.
Well, you paid them $3.
Yep.
And I paid somebody else yesterday almost $2. And then I paid somebody else today another $2.
Yep.
So that's $300, $400, $500, $600, $700.
Yep.
And it's not the landlord's fault, although being a landlord, I think they should probably just like hire the people and everything. But whatever. That's part of our value add. We come in and we take care of it. And we're supposed to be the professionals that know better.
Yes, we are.
But we did not do the right thing. Well, I mean, we're doing the right thing by the landlord, which means that, hey, we said $300 is $300. So we're going to eat the other $4. But we're not doing the right thing by ourselves. It wasn't a good business decision.
It was not a good business decision. That is exactly right.
It's not unethical, but it's cost us money right up front.
But you know what? I am all about karma.
Oh, you think it's going to come back on them?
I think it's going to come back on them.
Because they didn't do us right. They really did.
They did not. So I'm just telling you, if you do something that you know that you're not supposed to do that is unethical to someone, it is going to come around back to you.
It will. But your response to that shouldn't be to be unethical on top of it, right?
No,
so
for sure.
We took care of it.
No.
We took responsibility for it. It's our fault.
Yes, it is.
Ultimately, it's not their fault. It's our fault that we hired them.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
I mean, that's the right attitude to have, and that's the way you have to be about it.
I agree.
At the same time, you can be like, I ain't doing that again.
Yep. And so that is one thing that I have learned over and over and over again. It's like, Wendy, when are you going to learn your lesson that you cannot hire unprofessionals to do contract work for you?
Yeah, and it also that means you don't need to hire the most expensive people, because we've done that too.
We have, yes.
You can hire the big box people and they will get the job done, and it will be done well most of the time.
Right.
That's why they're the big box people, but you're going to overpay. On the other end of the scale, you can go super cheap with people that don't know what the hell they're doing. I know how to paint better than these people did.
Oh,
it was terrible. It was really terrible.
It was awful.
I mean, I could go into details, but it was like,
oh, dude, they broke out the masking tape. I should have known. I should have known as soon as they broke out the masking tape that it was going to be bad.
I have painted with masking tape. It's not even that. I don't want to go into details, but they didn't even they put the masking tape on the wrong part of the wall.
They did. They put it on the
so when you pull
part
it off,
you were supposed
there's
to
no
paint.
trim that you're supposed to cut in, right? If you've done any painting, you know this. You're supposed to cut in, right? And then if you're really good, you back roll that so there's no brush, because you have to do the cut in with the brush.
Yeah,
and then you back roll with the little roller, and then if you're spraying, it's a different deal. But if you're rolling like they were, you then roll the rest of it. They did not know how to paint.
Nope, sure.
But they took a painting job, which is kind of unethical to represent yourself to say, "Hey, I know how to paint," and then you don't. And then you take somebody's money for what you did, and then they wouldn't respond to you and all that.
Nope, sure didn't.
But whatever.
It's fine.
It's fine. I mean,
karma.
But it's our fault.
Yes, it is.
It's our fault for hiring those people.
Yes, it is. So that is one thing.
But that's just one thing.
That's one thing.
But that was the main
that
thing.
I've learned. Yes.
And it cost us 2 days. That cost us 2 days. So we had this really slick plan. We were going to be done we should be done by now, actually.
Yeah, we should be done by now.
We started the 1st. Today's the 5th.
Well, the other thing that I have learned is that I need to hire specific people, professionals, to do a specific task. For example, if I need TVs hung, I need to hire a professional TV hanger. And that's all they do is hang TVs.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I believe there are people that can hang TVs that can do other things.
But that's their job. And they need to they have one job to do, or maybe they have two jobs to do. But when they get there, they have a daily task list.
That's one way to do it, yeah.
And they know what they're supposed to be doing. They know how to do it. I don't have to teach them.
Well, that was part of it. So we had people come that helped,
but they were not professionals.
You didn't have they were not professionals. 2, you didn't have a daily task list.
That's right. I did not have a daily task list. Everything that had to be done, I was the only one that knew what needed to be done.
Yep. And we had this discussion. We won't have it on the podcast, but that was a major flaw in what happened. And that's why it's been 5 days and we're not done.
And we had all that help. Well, there was
the painters.
They didn't know how to hang pictures and do all the things that we needed to do. So they were not.
So even if you'd had the task list, it could have been like you'd had to show them how to do it anyway.
I would have had to take the time to teach them how to hang TVs.
And I think that's true. We do take things like that for granted because we know how to do so many things.
Right. And it's amazing that people don't know how to don't even know how to read directions.
Well, there's that too. Like, we had furniture to be, and I mean, this isn't like a diss on people or anything.
No,
but we did. We had furniture that needed to be put together, and it was kind of like I had to finish it.
Yep.
But that's what it is. I mean, it's my stuff. Right. I got to be the one. Ultimately, if somebody else doesn't do it, I have to do it. And the goal is to have somebody else do it that knows how. So I don't.
But that's the whole thing. Is you not only do you have to have people. You have to have the right people. You can't just say, yeah, come and help me.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
You have to hire the right people.
Yeah, you have to qualify people.
Yeah, you really do.
That's true in what we've done before too, like in the flipping business. Remember the guy that said he could do electrical and plumbing?
That's right. That's right. Yes.
Wasn't licensed in either.
That's right.
Wasn't good at either, and that isn't even the reason he was there to begin with. He was there for some other reason. He was like, "Nah, man, he could do electrical and plumbing too." We've told that story before.
Yes.
And we should have learned that, but we've become what we have. We have learned that to an extent. I mean, even though we made mistakes, we continually refine what that means. You know, and you're right. I mean, I think you can go to the extreme of, okay, I'm hiring a person for this job that only knows how to do this.
Right. But I think what I'm going to do next time is hire someone from one of those apps like
that's what we ended
Tackle.
That's what we ended up doing for some of these.
Thumbtack. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, I'm going to go on there and I'm going to say, I need someone to hang 3 TVs.
On this day.
I need someone to hang 10 curtains on this day. I need someone to hang 30 pictures on this day.
I don't think that's a horrible idea, actually.
That's what needs to happen. We're going to try it on the next one, and then we'll come back and tell you if it was a good plan or not.
But I will say we did that. That's how we corrected the painting thing. I went on an app called Tackle. It's kind of like TaskRabbit, or there's some other ones, right? But it's called Tackle, and it's kind of like Uber for whatever, for handyman jobs, but you say, here's what I want, but there's a review system to it, and there's when you have a third party like that, that again, back to Airbnb, that's why it's been so successful, because it has that review system where a third party's watching, right? So even on the hosts and even on the guests, so what you're getting, even though you're strangers, and that's the value of that platform, even above and beyond just being a search engine, is it has that built-in review system, and that's the beauty of it.
And he was great.
And that guy was great. And the thing is, they'll usually at the end say, here's my card, don't have to go through Tackle, because they're taking a piece of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you do find somebody good, I would use him again. I would call him directly.
Yep.
For sure. But at the same time, if you don't have somebody, it's a great place to go to, kind of weed people out. And even, like yesterday, we were trying to find somebody to paint a stairwell, and I turned down several of them just because I didn't.
Well, they didn't have any reviews.
They didn't have reviews, and I just didn't feel like it was a good fit or whatever. But
right. Well, they list a bio on there too, so you can get to know the person a little bit.
But the difference in that and Craigslist is, I don't know if they might have done 100 jobs. They might have never done anything.
Right.
They might just be those dudes that have obviously never painted before in their lives.
Mm-mm.
They were like landscapers that got fired last month or last week. Right. And we're like, let's go paint. How hard can it be?
Right. Well, they may have painted exteriors, but maybe not interiors.
I don't think they've ever painted anything in their damn life.
But quite frankly, I don't think that they have ever painted an interior.
But yeah, even we're like, hey, we're big and bad, and we got 7 units, and we've done this like 6 times, and we still make mistakes.
But I called him, and he told me that he has done interior painting for 2 years, and he spoke well, and he was respectful, and he showed up on time, and I thought it was going to be great because he checked all my boxes.
Yeah, he presented well.
He did.
And they were nice. We were there with them. We should have noticed. Yes. That was another mistake we made.
Yes,
we did not manage them well.
Yes, they were not managed, and
and you know why? Because you had no task list.
Yep.
So it was all combined, right?
Right.
And you were running around trying to show people how to hang pictures.
Yep.
Or even that they needed to hang pictures.
Right. Exactly. So the next time, I'm going to hire a professional to do one task. And I bet that it will go a lot smoother.
Right.
So those are the 2 things that I learned from setting up unit number 7.
Yeah.
But unit number 7 is looking
it does look fantastic
really
now,
fantastic.
Yeah. And it's badass. It's Mickey Mouse. It's Disney themed.
Disney themed. So we've got so it's like 3 stories, right? It's because it's uptown Charlotte. So everything is built up instead of out, right?
Yeah.
So it's
residential. It's not when you say uptown, I think like, it's a condo. It's a house. High-rise.
It's a house in a cute neighborhood.
Yeah. So
and it's
not
only
uptown, but you can walk to uptown.
It's walkable for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only 1.5 miles from Bank of America Stadium.
It's a little less than that if you walk. It's like a 20-minute walk.
Yeah. So it's
on the Greenway. So it's cool. It's set up for that. It's a
great neighborhood. So but the whole first floor is the living space, like the living room goes into the dining room, goes into the kitchen. So it's just big one open concept space.
With hardwood floors.
Yeah. And so we did Mickey Mouse downstairs, and then you go up the stairs into the master bedroom, and that's going to be Beauty and the Beast themed.
Yeah, that's the second floor. So the second floor has 2 bedrooms and a bath.
So in the
two
master,
baths, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. So the master is going to be Beauty and the Beast themed.
Yeah. That's going to be cool.
And it's going to be awesome. And there's a guest bedroom on the same floor, on that second floor, and that's going to be the Lion King themed.
Yes.
So it's really cool because we painted an accent wall orange. It's going to look really cool. It's really, really cool.
And
As
by
soon
we,
as-
we mean the two guys from Craigslist that messed it up.
Right.
And then the third guy that came and fixed it.
Right. But the orange is
But
really cool. It
does
really
look really
pops.
good, yeah.
And that one has a bathroom, but it's not connected. Like the master has an ensuite bathroom, right? But the guest room has a bathroom in the hallway.
Yeah.
And that bathroom is going to be Little Mermaid themed.
Right, yeah.
And then this unit is really cool because it also has a third floor, and it's kind of like you're going up into the castle.
Like a tower.
It's like a tower.
Yeah.
So I thought, man, wouldn't it be cool if we did Rapunzel?
And it's almost like its own apartment up
It
there.
is, because it has its own ensuite bathroom as well.
Yeah, so it's a bedroom and a bathroom, and that's all that's on the
That's
third
all,
floor.
yeah.
So it's like its own little apartment.
It
But
is.
yeah, you're right. It's like a
cool.
tower.
Yep. So we're gonna do Tangled, like a Rapunzel theme in there.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I'm super excited about this unit because it was fun to design, and it's going to attract the customer that we want to attract, which is families coming to town, families with children.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be, how awesome is that place going to be? I mean, I would want to stay there.
I would too.
And lots of people like Disney, but even if you're like not a Disney fanatic, like it's still like a cool place to go with
It's
your
still
kids.
cool. Yes. Yes.
It's
it is.
super cool.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. But there's a lot of work involved.
Yeah.
you
So
know.
it takes a really long time to set up a unit.
Well, there's a lot of work to be done.
If you don't hire professionals.
Yeah. We had a really good plan. I think we would be done by now if we hadn't have made that one painting mistake.
I don't know. I disagree because
Well, that set us back 2 days.
yes, but had that painting actually gotten done on time, we still would have had to show all the people that we had there.
Well, that you're right. Maybe there's two. Yeah.
So we would have had to train
We
them.
had too many general labor and not enough
Yes.
specific skills.
Yes, and that's why I'm telling you, next time we need to hire professionals from Thumbtack or whatever, and they've got I need these 3 TVs hung. Good, you're done. Okay, goodbye. I need paint all these pictures to be hung up. Good, you're done. Bye.
I could see that. I think that's a little extreme though. Like the dude that can hang TVs can probably hang pictures.
I don't know. I don't know.
I think
Maybe.
so. I mean, they're very
Maybe.
similar job. I mean, I wouldn't like.
Maybe I would have them hang the curtain rods.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying that I don't know if you want to be that extreme where you got like one person and then you just like.
But
you want to make sure. I think the key is that the person that does whatever job it is actually qualified to do it.
and that's what I like about those apps.
It is, but what I'm trying to say is when you put a job on that app, they may be qualified for 10 things, but that's the only thing you've told them that you need them to do. It's not like they're TV specialists. You know what I'm saying?
So you think that
I think what you're describing is it will work for sure. I think it's a little extreme.
So you think that we could do multiple tasks, say for example,
Yes.
one person
Yes.
or 2 people from that job could do the TVs and the curtain rods.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, I'd be okay with that. But it's all in how you present the job, right?
It is, yeah. But part of the problem is if you put something on an app like that, it's very specific. It's kind of like, why am I paying? Because you got to pay a percentage to the app. So I don't know. It just seems very inefficient to me to do it that way. I'm sure it would get done.
Well, how would you do it then?
I would find somebody. I would find somebody that can do some of those similar tasks.
Gotcha.
Like the people that hang the TVs probably aren't the people that paint.
Right.
Although I'm sure there are people that have both of those skills, but I would rather have somebody that primarily paints to do painting, because it's not really related to hanging TVs. But hanging curtains is, or curtain rods. It's the same thing. Hanging pictures is very similar. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like the first guy, going back to the other example, he was there for some totally other reason that he was actually good at. I forget what it was. Like, I forget if he sanded the floors or if he was like the tile guy. But the guy that's really good at tile probably isn't your electrician, because they're just totally different jobs. But the guy that's good at tile might be your guy that's good at laying other types of flooring too, because they're similar type jobs.
Okay, well, maybe we should combine some things.
Yeah, I'm that's all I'm saying.
But I do like the idea of using an app like that.
I do too, but I think that you can also, like the two guys that we got today, I know I've got a guy that can paint.
Well, now we do.
So
and next time we won't have to go through the
call
app.
him to paint directly, right?
Sure. And we know that it's going to get done correctly the first time.
Right. And part of the problem with these little jobs that's different from when we were flipping houses is that before we use contractors, and you might be saying, why don't you use guys use when you flipped houses? Because those guys are looking for bigger jobs.
Yeah. And they're always busy.
And they don't want to just come over for an afternoon and hang TVs.
Right.
Or hang wall art.
We could hire a handyman.
They're like tear up your subflooring and do all your drywall type guys.
Right.
You know?
And we could hire a handyman.
Yeah, but they also tend to be, they're premium price because they bring more value to the table. So it's kind of like bringing in a lawyer to, it's overkill.
Yeah.
I can't think of the specific example right now, but it's like your dentist doesn't clean your teeth.
Right.
The dental hygienist does.
Right.
Because if you had to pay the dentist to do it, it would be more. Because they get paid more.
Right.
It's not that they're not capable of it. It's just overkill. So that's all I'm saying.
Okay. Well, we'll see.
We definitely don't want to just hire people off Craigslist that you don't know.
Well, we'll see what happens in the next one.
So there's extremes there, yeah. But these are the kind of conversations we have in the garage, right? Where we hash out things and say, "Hey, here's what we did good. Here's things we did well."
It's good. It's good to look back on your day and say, I was successful here. I have some weaknesses here. I need to work on these things.
Yeah, and that's how you get better.
Exactly.
Because next time we're going to be bigger, badder, better versions of ourselves than we were the last time.
Amen.
And this time, I could tell you now, we're bigger, bad. Ain't as bad as we're just like saying all the things that went wrong.
True.
Look at all the things that went well.
True.
Like we had all the stuff there.
Yes, that's right.
We're not having to like run to the store every 5 minutes.
That's right.
We're not. I mean, a lot of it is we've got the designs down. We already know what it is.
Yep.
We know what the tasks are, even though some of it's just in your head type stuff, but it's not nearly as chaotic as the 3 weeks we spent setting up the first place.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yes.
We were like, oh crap, I guess we should have gotten more sheets. We already know how many sheets we need.
Right. Sure.
Because we've been in operation for a while. So we've gotten much, much better.
I'm telling you this.
So it almost makes it sound like it's a disaster. It's not. We're just mad because we didn't get it done in 3 days.
Right. Right.
And it's going to take us like a week.
Right.
Where the first one took us like 3 weeks.
Right.
So we've improved by how much is that? 66%, can you say?
Yeah.
We feel like we didn't do a good job. So, you kind of got to take it in perspective, I think.
That's true. That's a good point. But I don't feel like this was a complete failure.
No, it wasn't. But I get, and you do too. It's like, I don't know. You just, maybe that's just the way it always is going to be. That always frustrated me with flips too. It's like you had this plan. It's going to be this way, and then something happened.
Something always happens, though.
Yeah, it does, and it's how you deal with it.
Yes.
It's how you deal with it.
Yes. I agree.
That matters.
because something's always going to, and not to mention the stove in this one, there's a big crack in it.
Yeah. So that was like something we just did not notice before.
Right. I didn't.
And it's going to get taken care of. The landlord's paying for it and all that, but it's still, we have to get it done.
Right. It's going to cost us some more time.
It's going to cost us time.
Speaking of which, I need to find a stove.
Yeah. So we've got people here locally that do stoves. So we're going to, again,
from our flipping experience.
Yeah. So this is us outing value to the landlord because she's out of state.
Right.
So if she had to get a stove, she's like going to be like, well, I guess I have to go to Lowe's and get one.
Right.
But we know people, so we'll hook her up. And
well, that's how I presented it to her, right?
Yeah. I mean, we know people that have. It doesn't have to be a new stove. We all know that it's not going to be new the week out anyway. So, but you can get good secondhand appliances that still look great. They still work great. They still have warranties, but you're not paying Lowe's prices, for a new stainless steel stove. So we'll hook her up on that. We'll get it installed. We'll be, kind of
her hero.
Yeah, exactly. And for us, we'll get a new stove and our clients will be happy. So it's a win-win, of course. I mean, that's why we do it. And we always think of it more of a partnership than a tenant landlord relationship. You know what I mean?
Sure. Definitely. That is definitely the correct mindset to have.
Yeah. Because it's a win-win. It's just that's the role we've taken on. Let's be good at it,
Exactly. Which we are.
Of course.
Well, let's go celebrate our success.
Okay. So what was this episode about? It was
setting up our what we learned on unit number 7 setup.
Yeah, so far. And I think we should probably once we got it all set up, we should probably do a recap and say, hey, here's actually what happened, and
we'll do that next week.
Yeah. Because we'll be done by next week.
Well, yes.
And we should have some bookings going on by next week.
Yeah,
I would
for
think.
sure.
So,
well, the photographer is coming on Monday.
That's true. Yeah.
So
we'll talk about that then.
That's right. Well, thank you for listening. We hope that you enjoyed this episode of The Cash Flow Couple. If you would like to email us, you can at info@thecashflowcouple.com. We also have a Facebook page at The Cash Flow Couple. We would love to hear from you if you would like to send us some suggestions or some questions. We love to answer questions. John loves to answer questions.
I would really like to have some questions.
Yeah.
Because I know there are people that listen, but I would really like to have some questions. I get questions all the time, or we do, on Facebook and different places. But, if you would like me to answer it more succinctly, we'll make a episode out of it,
sure.
Right?
Yeah, that'd be great. All right. Well, thank you for listening.